Welcome to the Merlin Crypto Market Update located on the X app. I'm Abs, the host and senior engagement officer at Merlin, and today's episode features a replay from our Merlin X Spaces. Every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., you can catch us live on the X app at Get Merlin Crypto. We dive into captivating discussions about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology with our engaged audience, special guests, and the founders of Merlin. Please note, these spaces can sometimes experience technical hiccups and end suddenly. It's all part of the experience. Thanks for tuning into the Crypto Market Update, proudly brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto.
All right, everybody, welcome to another Merlin Spaces. Give us a few moments while we get our hosts up here and our amazing speakers up here, and to give some time for some people to introduce, and we will get started. But in the meantime, here's some happy go music, which is Johnny Crypto's favorite. All right, everybody, we're going to give it one more minute to get some more people up on this amazing space. I hope you are ready to have a good time. If you're ready to have a good time, go ahead and throw up a heart to get some action coming up in this space. And we are just bringing everybody up, or 100% sign as Abs threw up. Let's get some more hearts from the audience. We have an amazing space for you. We're going to be talking about the SEC approves Ether spot ETFs. USA crypto adoption is here. And again, we will get started in one more moment. We're just going to give a few more moments to get Abs switched over to a co-host and to enjoy some of this amazing Johnny Crypto music. All right, everybody, welcome to tonight's X Spaces, brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. And again, the SEC approves Ether spot ETFs. USA crypto adoption is here. My name is Jeremy. I will be the moderator this evening, as well as one of the co-hosts. I am the Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Merlin. You can follow me on social media at Age of Jeremy. Your host this evening, as always, is the amazing and beautiful Abs, Merlin's senior engagement specialist, and also the host of the popular news show, Good Morning Crypto. The Good Morning Crypto show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page. You can follow Abs right here on X at 3TGMC Crypto. These spaces are brought to you by Merlin. Again, the smartest way to track your crypto. Not only can you use Merlin to track your coins across wallets and exchanges in one simple, secure web app, Merlin allows you to set up exit strategies for your coins so you know when it's time to sell. Please follow Merlin here on X. You can also follow Merlin on LinkedIn at Get Merlin Crypto. That's Get Merlin Crypto. And you can follow us on Instagram and Threads at Merlin_crypto. If we can get some more hearts flashing up into this spaces to get some action coming. And I just want to add one more thing here on X Spaces. We enjoy debate, but please keep it family friendly and please be respectful. We want these to be inclusive, to be an inclusive environment. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or the positions of any entities that they represent. And the last thing that I want to say at any point in time, because we want to have a great and powerful crypto conversation, if you have a thought or you have a question or you have something that you want to share, please raise your hand. We'll bring you up on deck. Just be patient and you will have a chance to speak. And with that, Abs, take it away.
Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. We got a bunch of exciting topics to talk about. We're going to start off with the SEC approving the Ethereum ETF. Then we're going to roll this into a conversation about other altcoins and what we can anticipate over the next 12 months or so. I also want to give a shout out to our friend Ray. We got Ray Fuentes joining us. We're going to get him as a live chat speaker. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties because I am a speaker, but I'm not a co-host yet, so I can't add Ray. We're going to have to add him through the Merlin account. So be patient with me, Ray. We appreciate you being here. But first of all, let's
Hey,
get into
Abs,
Gonzo.
do you want me to kick you off as a speaker and just try to invite you as a co-host?
Yeah, that could be
Okay.
better. I'm going to kick it to Johnny, and then let's do that. Johnny, floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It is a beautiful night up here on the northeast coast, Abs. I'm doing great, and hopefully so is everybody else. So happy to have Ray here tonight and Gonzo and our other brothers to be able to talk some crypto. I can't wait to hop into it, but hopefully everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. Let's thank all of our veterans out there for their great service and time and some for giving up their lives for what they believe in and for our freedoms. So just hopefully everybody had a happy Memorial Day weekend, and we take a moment of silence here to salute all of our troops.
Thank you so much, Johnny Crypto with a K. And I see we have Gonzo as well. Gonzo, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing really good. Tuesdays are always a little bit of a long day because, in the morning we did Hablando Crypto in Spanish and then we did the Good Morning Crypto show. And so, yeah, man, I have no complaints. It's been a really good day. Lots of kind of different things going on in the cryptoverse. Definitely since the last time we had a spaces, there's been kind of sentiment shift. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but nothing but positive things I see coming for crypto.
No, absolutely, Gonzo. I appreciate that. We got Ray up to speak while we still continue to get Abs up here as a co-host. We're having some fun X Spaces difficulties. Good thing that we have a software company. Ray, how are you doing, my friend?
Happy Taco Tuesday, Jeremy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing
Thanks for having
amazing.
me up
Happy
here.
Taco Tuesday. I actually had tacos today, so that is a true statement. Did you have tacos today by chance?
You know what? I didn't. I had tacos 2 days in a row these past couple of days, so I'm tacoed out. It was a great Memorial Day weekend. Spent some time at the Padres game in San Diego, and they have Puesto tacos in the stadium. So yeah, I had a couple of those, and and a couple at the family barbecue. So I'm good today. I'm living vicariously through you now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great too. When you went to the Padres game, did you have your Ray-Bans on? I know that's on your YouTube channel, which you guys should all go
Yeah.
check out. You got those Ray-Bans, and you were doing some live content and recording content. Did you get some stuff at the Padres game?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That was my very first time testing out the new Ray-Ban Meta Ray-Bans. They were the Wayfair models with the transitioning lenses, so you can wear them inside outside. But
Nice.
what's really neat is you can live stream to, since they're Meta. You can live stream either to Facebook or Instagram like seamlessly. You just open up the app, and press a couple buttons, and boom, you're live streaming directly from your phone, but from the view of the excuse me, the
From the wearer,
glasses.
like it's from
Exactly.
your perspective, right?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
view. So you get the up POV up and close, and basically see what's going on within the brain of Ray. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. I tested out those systems. They worked pretty well, having limited reception to Wi-Fi. But what
Yeah.
what what I'm really going to use them for, which I'm really excited for, is yes, for that specific use case, but to then you can also do minute long recordings through the app, and then I'm going to take those recordings and embed those perspectives in the content that I create. Yes, available on the YouTube channel or all platforms, but it's of the perspective of during the interviews. So it'll add another dimension and another view that I think will be unique and personal to that environment, because you'll get up close and personal with people from, like, I mean, I wish I had them with my interview for J. Christopher Giancarlo, but I think it'll be great to see who I get next. I think I'm going to be interviewing. I'll be seeing you, Abs, at the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral next week. So I think I'll that'll be a perfect opportunity to get your handsome self, sir, and we'll get up it, throw the microphone in your face, and create some content while we're out there, and I'll show you how this app works. It's really awesome. But aside from that,
That's awesome.
that's why I got those glasses, was just to get a little bit more creative and like I said, bring people deeper into the metaverse.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I love it, Ray. In fact, I was just doing a live on my Instagram, and me and Trey were actually talking about it because Trey was thinking that would be a really good way for him to get some content too. So I'm thinking about getting some, but $400, I commend
Yeah,
you, my friend.
yeah. I'm not gonna. I can't eat for the next couple days, but at least we'll have good content.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I get in the world that we live in today. That's what's the most important. So thank you so much, Ray. Abs, I'm going to kick it back over to you. I think you're up here as a speaker. I don't know what's going on. I'm having some technical difficulties too. This whole time, it was telling me that Gonzo was speaking, even though it was Ray. So let's see how it goes when you speak, and let's get this show started.
Absolutely, guys. First of all, shout out to Ray. I'm looking forward to the Quantum Summit. I know Mikkel's going to be there, Molly's going to be there, so I'm really looking forward to collaborating and seeing you guys again. XRP Las Vegas, I'm just trying to keep that momentum. Ever since we got back, I've been on that energy high for quite a while, so I'm keeping that momentum all the way through the Quantum Summit. We'll get a quick recharge in South Florida, and then I'll be good to go for the rest of the summer, at least until your lake house, Johnny. But the title of today's episode was the SEC approved Ethereum spot ETFs. That's just where I'd like to start. And because, Johnny, I think a lot of people are interested to hear your basic opinion. Just 2 weeks ago, it was pretty much consensus that the SEC was going to deny this. It wasn't going to get approved in the USA. But not only have we seen a complete 180 from the SEC, we've seen presidential candidates, whether it's Trump or Biden, both come out and make pro-crypto statements in the last couple of weeks. It goes to show how quickly things can change in this market, especially while it's just narrative-driven and not utility-based. So I just want to give you a chance to speak about it. Then we'll kick it over to Ray and Gonzo.
Yeah, this is the prototypical don't do what I do what I say. Basically, because you're right. They were flooding everybody out, telling everybody that this thing wasn't going to happen. And the reality is, this is why you always, the Johnny Crypto rule, do the opposite of what you're hearing. It usually works 95% of the time. It's just very, very, very hard to do because it's hard to go against your conscience. But if you can master that, boy, you'd be a multi-millionaire. But Yeah, no surprise there that Abs. I kind of figured this thing was coming. ETH has always gotten a pass from day one. I didn't think there would be any reason why they would all of a sudden stop giving it its free passes. And sure enough, it got another free pass. And here we are with an ETH ETF. And, at the end of the day, I personally think now there's a double-edged sword here, right? Because people don't like the fact that now the big boys have their hands in crypto. But the reality is, I think Gonzo said it today on the Good Morning Crypto Show. The reality is, if you really want these things to grow, you need Wall Street to be a part of it. And I know that sucks, but the reality is, what people understand is that is the highway. That is the access key to liquidity. The highway, the liquidity highway, I like to call it, is Wall Street. And the more Wall Street's connected to crypto, the more chances or higher probability that you'll see liquidity flow into this space, because unfortunately Wall Street is trusted by the majority of investors. And so to me, I kind of thought it would come. I'm kind of, for that reason, the fact that I want to see liquidity come into the space is the reason why I'm kind of glad it happened. And I think we'll now continue to see who's next. That's the conversation now on everybody's mind. Is XRP the next ETF? Will it be Solana? Who knows? Time will tell.
Agree with you, Johnny. And we're going to start, talking about that next. But I know Gonzo had some good thoughts. Ray, I wanted to hear, do you have any opinions on, first of all, what was your reaction to sort of like the Ethereum ETF news that we got this week, as well as SOB 121 and FIT 21, both getting approved by the House within the same time period. So 3 huge catalysts in a week. What's your reaction, Ray?
Oh man, thank you, Gons. I think that this is zooming out, it looks like the market's only, or the industry's going in one direction, which is, obvious. We're paying taxes on these transactions. We're seeing legislation being rolled in. We're seeing, getting the head nods from, as you mentioned earlier, from both candidates running for Biden and Trump. And so I think that this is only good for the market. It's we have I don't want to say affinities to specific chains, but some of us are more bullish on other chains or in other communities, and it's interesting to see how some protocols or communities or ecosystems have received these passes without getting that regulatory approval or strong arming these opportunities into place. I think this overall decision is, or the approval is, bullish for the entire crypto sector. But as mentioned, I still think that this is just the beginning. This obviously follows Bitcoin's approval in January, and so for me, if those in the audience just zoom out and see what's going on in the market, I think that this industry is moving in one direction, and that is forward. But I believe this is just something, as if you were also to go to CoinMarketCap or something if you want, and go see how we're pretty much near all-time highs for the market. So the greed index is also veering upwards. So I think that there's, with this looming potential catalyst or black swan that you hear Brad Garlinghouse talking about, or others, maybe there's something that drags the market back down. I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but you just got to be mindful of all circumstances that can be thrown at you. So kind of almost like what Johnny mentioned earlier, the hardest thing is kind of doing the opposite. For me, it's the hardest thing is just doing nothing. It's like, man, it's just, investing is mostly psychology, and just having to race and having your mind race all the time, especially when you see price swings or things of that nature. That's why I stopped looking at price. Oh my gosh, I haven't opened up a like Coinbase or Uphold app or things of that nature to just check out price. But it is interesting to go to resources like CoinMarketCap and maybe seeing what is going in the broad sector, and getting a pulse check. And so, anyways, in a nutshell, I think that all of these recent happenings are good for the industry. The market is teetering on a $2.5 trillion market cap, which we'll see which way that teeter goes. And that's my input, really.
Ray, we often say, whether it's on our show or on these spaces when we get a chance to speak, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. Right as the total coin market cap, excluding the top 10 tokens, was about to break out, three humongous headlines got passed: Ethereum, SOB 121, and FIT 21. Then we had both Trump and Biden presidential candidates come out and basically make pro-crypto statements. The White House said they would work with Congress to get legislation passed. Trump started to make some pro-crypto statements in reference to Bitcoin and being anti-central bank digital currency. So it's like me and Johnny have this debate. Is it WWE? Do we live in the Matrix? We'll save that for another episode. But Gonzo, I do want to get some of your thoughts. Looking at like the altcoins, there's plenty of catalysts in 2024. We've got regulation, stablecoin regulation, possible ETF launches. What's your reaction to all these positive catalysts coming out right as we're breaking all-time high for the altcoins?
Abs, it was a really good reminder for me to just really push out all the noise, because I remember in January when the Bitcoin's spot ETF got approved, I made a video on the Spanish YouTube channel for 3T Espanol saying that that was the next trade, right? Because of the grayscale case and because they couldn't no longer deny the Bitcoin spot ETF because there was a futures product, the next trade was Ethereum. And in that time from January to like probably a week or that Monday that we started getting traction on the spot ETF for Ethereum, like I had just lost that vision, right? I really thought, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna get denied, right? And then maybe we're gonna get a correction into the summer. And then, but I knew there was probably gonna be some kind of positive news that was gonna bring us out, right? Because there's always a narrative, right? There's always a narrative that takes us up, and there's a narrative that always takes us down. And if you talked to us a few weeks ago, even like a month ago, we weren't too sure when you hear people like Mark Yusko say that the market cap's going to go to 5 trillion, or if you're super bullish like our old Paul and you think we're going to 10, 12 trillion, right? We didn't know how was that going to happen? Where are you going to get the influx of money? Where are you going to get the narrative to drive this market? And those questions were answered, right? It was kicked off with that Monday with the chatter about the spot ETF and then FIT 21. And then really, I think not just the left, but people just underestimated the power of the crypto community as a voting bloc, right? With the whole anti-crypto army, once kind of Trump made, and I'm not making this left or right, these are just the facts that happened. Once Trump started making those announcements about being pro crypto, and you heard people basically saying that they hate Trump, but that they're going to vote for him because they're pro crypto. It was a real underestimation by the left. And the way that it just went down is, to me, proof that they really probably were going to deny this thing. But some phone call came from the higher ups that said, I don't care what you need to do, but you're going to approve this thing, right? Because it was so last minute. Now, Gary Gensler is going to come out and say, well, we made it last minute because, we didn't want to manipulate the price or anything. But all of the legal actions and the well notices that they had served prior to that was telling us that they were anti-crypto. And all of a sudden they did a 180. And I think it was because of political pressure. I think there was a flip. And then now everybody's like super bullish.
I agree with you, Gonzo. And another thing that's really, really big news happened today where the debt box case was resolved. We got a final ruling in that case. And the SEC is going to be forced to pay $1.8 million to the debt box company for being, let me just get this quote correct, for abusing their power against the crypto company debt box. So think about that. Once again, the SEC is getting another loss in court here. $1.8 million. Now, here's the caveat. It's not coming out of Gensler's pocket. That's taxpayer money. So that's a little caveat there, guys. But Johnny, I did just want to get some of your thoughts on the total shift before we move forward. When it comes to the USA and crypto, me and you used to discuss, is it going to come up in the presidential elections? Will we see this talked about in 2024? The answer is obviously yes. Now it's really just about how big of a role it plays when it comes to October and November. Maybe you can just summarize this all. Big losses for the SEC, big wins for crypto in the US. What's all this mean to you?
Well, let me start out first by shouting out our man Echo, who's out there in the audience. We love him. If he's around and available to chat, we'd love for you to come on up and talk to us as well, Echo. He's also a Merlin partner. But, Abs, it's a you want me to sum it up? It's real easy. It's a big win for crypto all around. It's been a big victory, or give a big old W to crypto, because crypto has taken its beating over the past 2 years. But this is a big win overall on many fronts. The biggest one being possibly, let's face it. You said earlier, it's the world of stage, and I always like to call it the WWE. Here you had, and I hate to pick on the administration, so I'm just going to say the current administration has been, I think we all can agree, that it's been entirely anti-crypto for the past 4 years, right? And all of a sudden, 4 years of bashing crypto, not giving them the chance to innovate, not coming up with regulation, not forcing Congress to do regulation because the administration can put, guidance on what they want Congress to work on, right? Nothing, not moving the needle forward. And all of a sudden, Trump comes out and says he's pro crypto. And all of a sudden, the Kermit says, oh, yeah, I'm pro crypto too. What a bunch of horse bullshit. I mean, can you guys, Jesus Christ, you can just see. Yeah. So I don't believe a word the current administration says about them really, truly being for crypto. Let's face it. At the end of the day, words are meaningless. It's actions that matter. And if we look at the actions over the past 4 years, we can clearly see that this current administration does not have any, passion for pushing crypto forward. So I wouldn't believe them, if you couldn't pay me enough to believe them. But that's where I am with that. In terms of, the overall industry, I think, these are some big wins. The SEC just got slapped. You're right. Unfortunately, it's taxpayer dollars. So the SEC has nothing, it's really sad because they can screw up and make big mistakes. And all they're costing is you and me more money. They make a mistake and it's our money, right? That's a problem. That's a big problem. But nonetheless, what's good is, as they take these losses, those losses will help set some precedent so that as they think about attacking future companies, I'm trying to look for the silver lining here, since our money's being wasted, is at least some of these cases will now be arguments that other attorneys can use as defense to try and get a lot of these other cases thrown out if the SEC continues going down with all these frivolous lawsuits. But hopefully we're going to start to see an end to that. We'll have to see. I think the current administration is either realizing, oh my God, we need to get on the crypto train, or right now they're just appeasing voters just because Trump is doing it. So now they are too. But the reality is, if we can get some sign of regulation coming out, Abs, that's really going to change the industry. And that's what we really need. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Johnny, I heard this stat earlier today. I thought you'd find it interesting. So Raul Paul was talking about the total number of crypto wallets that exist today, or registered wallets. It's 550 million. But he said that those are often double and triple counts. So it's the same person having 3 different wallets, or the same person using 3 different cold storage wallets. So think about this. It's a guarantee that there's less than 500 million people currently in crypto. The real number is probably somewhere around 250 million. In the United States, it's estimated that 50 million of that 250 million active crypto users are inside the United States. There's 85 million active wallets. If we reduce that number slightly over half, we come to about 50 million. It's safe to say crypto's here to stay. And I think that people like Trump and Biden right now, they're just speaking to the younger investors. They're speaking to the forward thinkers. And if this is going to be a swing issue for a lot of voters, it's the smart thing to do to kind of get in front of this narrative. That's what I genuinely believe.
Yeah.
But Johnny, what do you think about that? All those different wallet stats. Does that mean
No, I
anything
think
to
you're
you?
spot on. That totally means something. I mean, if you talk about 550 million people, we know that the data we looked at when we were creating Merlin about 2 years ago showed that there was about 320 million people. This was back in 2023. The data, so that was probably early 2023. The data shows about 320 million people invested in crypto at the time. And I'm not sure if they went by wallets or not. So, but your data, coming up with 550, but obviously we know, I can attest to that. I have multiple wallets of the same thing. So there's no question about it. Those are duplicates and not unique individuals. But I would put that at somewhere about probably, I would say it's not 2x, probably 1.5. So it's probably around 350 or 400 million people that are in this space, Abs. And that's good. But the reason why I'm excited is, and why we invented Merlin, was to help not only the people in the space, Abs, but the people that are coming. There are still so many people that are going to come into this space. They don't even think it's safe to come into it right now. I mean, it's funny. Jeremy and I were looking at some advertising thing today, and we were doing search for the word crypto, and you put it in, and not too many influencers, not too many things pop up. It just goes to show you that's how early we are, that people aren't even talking about it yet, or not able to talk about it, because of the fact that it's just that early. It's like trying to talk about the internet back in 1997. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody knew what the hell it was. Everybody thought it was going to be bad. They thought it was only going to be for nefarious activities. Exactly the same thing we're hearing about crypto. And here we are 20 years later. If I took your internet away, Abs, Tell me what would happen if I turned your internet off for 1 week.
Well, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. I'll tell you that much.
You'd go
And
nuts.
you'd have to do the entire Good Morning Crypto show by yourself, Johnny.
Yeah, that's right. But my point is, you wouldn't know how to survive because our lives are so entrenched. I would love to hear from everybody here. What would everybody in this chat right now think about this? Take 2 seconds and think about what would your life be like if I took away your internet for a week? You didn't have it. You couldn't use it. You can't get online. You can't send text messages. I guess the cell phone's a little different. But if we took your internet away so that you couldn't do emails, you can't surf the web, you can't buy stuff on Amazon, you can't get your news. Just think about how that would change your life. You wouldn't be able to log into your work email, right? Think about how drastically that has changed your life and improved it. And yet, 20 years ago, some of you were in diapers, some of you weren't born, some of you were my age, some of you were older. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, talking about this stuff, they wanted to kill the internet. They did not want it, and they said it was going to be bad for society. And here we are now, and we see how good it is. I think exactly the same thing is going to happen with crypto apps, or with blockchain technology, I should say, and crypto being the underlying base for some of them as an incentive to keep them running. So I'm excited for the future apps. I think there's a way more upside in crypto. And I think we have about 550 million people or 550,000 million wallets. So maybe that's 400 million real people. And I think we're headed to somewhere on the order of about 2 billion people that I think will be using blockchain in the next 5 to 10 years. So a lot of upside, my friend. A lot of upside.
Those Raoul Paul stats. He predicted 1 billion wallets will exist by the end of 2025, and by 2030 it would be 4.5 billion. So those kind of like the second end of the stats. But Ray, floor is yours.
Well, that's kind of the premise of what's going to be discussed at the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral next week on the 8th and 9th, as far as, banking the unbanked, bringing over 3 billion people from various countries or regions of the world and bringing them online. What systems are they going to be brought onto? That is the question. Or what systems? And so I don't think that potentially the current infrastructure as is can handle that type of volume. So here we have some really disruptive distributed ledger technologies or software solutions that could process potentially trillions of transactions per second across network. That's game changing in at fractions of a penny. So that's kind of where I see this world going, and the systems and tools that we can, or services that we can leverage and improve upon, which at the on the other side of the of the sword, or you could say, is there's middlemen being taken out or someone's losing a job. But I mean, uh, software, AI, technology is instrumental in being adopted at more rapid speeds, especially as, I mean, every few years it says the amount of time between a technological advancement, let's just say between the pager to the cell phone, let's just say it took, using round numbers, and I'm more than likely 100% wrong. Let's just say it took 10 years. But then the from the computer to laptop took maybe 5 years. But now we have the laptop to cell phone, and the cell phone with a new better chip, or the first iPhone to the iPhone 15, and now it's like a new iPhone's being printed out every year. And so I think that with even where I live, think about this. I live in a sleepy town of Southern California, and the infrastructure is relatively outdated. They're remodeling some of the schools or high schools in the area because they're built off of infrastructure where they can't handle the amount of the volts or the energy, the electricity required to host electronic charging stations for vehicles, or to host these intricate Wi-Fi solutions and things of that nature. And so I think that it's you're seeing it's happening all around us. I mean, the smart cities are just smart. IoT world is it's happening, man. And so it's, you either I don't want to sound like a broken record and saying the train's left the station, but you're either with it or just you're just gonna be potentially stuck on universal basic income or something of the sort, and left behind. Who knows? I hope that's not the case. I hope there's new ways of generating income. I think because of these tools and resources, we're moving into this creator economy and ways of tapping into, unexpected ways or just unforeseen ways of generating or unknown ways of generating income to others. It's unfortunate, man, because one of the my parents moved from the house that I was born and raised in not too long ago, and I'm 37, so they lived there for a long time. But where I'm getting at is the neighbor that lived to them for a considerable amount of time. Unfortunately, things have happened with her family, and now she's by herself, and now she can't afford her utilities, and is now moving out of state. And it's just, I think, here we are. She's a wonderful baker. She's a wonderful she's got an incredible entrepreneurial spirit, but maybe just the unaware. I don't want to say unawareness. She's aware because she's on Instagram. She's on some things, but maybe it's just, I don't want to say the lack of initiative, because she's, like I said, a hustling entrepreneur, has an entrepreneurial spirit. But it's just, what if we just need to educate even our neighbors and friends of these new systems of how to generate income as well, outside of what, I don't want to say outside of crypto, but I mean, because all of this stuff is relative. We're tapping into the same systems essentially. And so that's kind of where I think the hurdle for us is just education, and getting people up to speed, and hopefully by doing things like this in spaces, we can help bridge the gap, and help others so they don't have to move across state, I guess.
I agree with you, Ray, and it's one of those things where I feel like a couple of years ago, many of the conversations we're having now are kind of conspiracy or speculation, but there's plenty of evidence that big companies, legitimate financial firms, are going to be using a lot of these assets. Chainlink, Stellar, Algorand, HBAR, XRP. Plenty of altcoins have had legitimate partnerships with massive billion, even $1 trillion companies. So it's really just our job to figure out exactly where those technologies are going to fall, and hopefully we can make enough profit in this market over the next decade or so to protect ourselves, the same way that the generation before us had a 401k, or they were able to buy real estate and that was able to pace with inflation. I think crypto is kind of like our version of that, our version of outpacing inflation, an asset that can actually make you wealthy instead of just keeping you where you are, or even worse, making you more poor, for lack of a better word. But this is some pretty cool information I found this morning. Vanguard, for the first time ever in the history of the USA, filed a description where they're going to be offering a specialized fund of digital currency, digital security tokens, and digital utility tokens. This is the first time anyone's ever seen these documents. Really, really interesting. But I think it gives us more insight that not only are we going to see companies use these technologies, there's going to be a regulatory wave that comes through this market, and plenty of the legitimate projects that we talk about will survive, but there's going to be thousands that die in the process. So it's really interesting. Once again, they're categorizing tokens into three categories: digital currency, digital security, and a digital utility token. What's your reaction to this, Gonzo? And then we'll kick it around the group, whoever wants to chat it up.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. But going back a little bit, when you talk about like the Real Paul interview and the active wallets, we're seeing that processes take place as we speak, right? You have like Telegram that has access to 900 million users who created their own blockchain with Ton, and they want to onboard those people. You look at Coinbase, and on their roadmap, they say they want to onboard 1 billion users. How are they going to do that? They built a base layer too, right? To onboard everybody onto that. And so whether it's Solana, AVAX, this morning we were talking about the article with Ripple creating like an application, right? Because right now we're just building the rails or the foundations, but it's really about the applications. That's how you onboard all those people, right? You build the infrastructure, and then there's an app, or even Twitter, right? Like Twitter's been talking about, or X that we're on right now. Elon Musk trying to turn it into WeChat, but it's really going to be the application, I believe, after like they build the rails or the foundations that really onboard mass amounts of people, right? Because there are certain things that we have to kind of fix, right? Like the whole seed phrase thing, right? That's why it's really interesting with Coinbase coming out with their new wallet, the new smart wallet that uses keys and not seed phrases, right? Because you're not going to have people that are going to come in, especially when it has to do with money or finance. If you make it overcomplicated or there's a risk of losing it, they're not going to come in. So we're kind of seeing that all take place, and it just takes time, like Johnny loves to say, with technology. But it's happening. And then when you look at the overall sentiment and where we're going with regulation, like what you're saying, there are a lot of projects. We have so many, right? Like what we used to be at 20,000, we're 20,000 plus now. A lot of projects are probably gonna go away, either through lack of use, or they just don't catch, or they don't have enough runway to survive the bear market, or through regulation. And when that happens, you get kind of a funneling effect where as new people come into this market, there are less of those projects that, like now we have 20,000, that money will be focused on certain projects. And that's when you really see kind of like when you hear them talk about we're going to 5 trillion, 12 trillion, or what he says, or Raul Paul says, like in 2030, if you believe that we're going to 100 trillion market cap or the 12th sector. These are the steps that you need to take first to get there.
Agree with you, Gonzo. Sorry about that. I got stuck on the microphone there, guys. Ray, floor is yours for some comments. We'll kick it over to Johnny.
On the topic of security versus currency versus utility, 100%. I mean, we just saw Securitize token hundreds of millions of dollars with the participation of BlackRock and other large financial institutions. So that would let's just think about the tokenized securities or issuing equities on chain. That's where I see that bucket. Obviously getting satisfied. The currency. I mean, shoot. FinCEN already classified XRP as a virtual currency, 2015? We've used it using the Global ID debit card or me personally, I've bought hamburgers, paid for beverages, you name it, basically everything other than my mortgage. But then there's also services out there that can link up and do special services like pay your mortgage with digital currencies. And so that's where I see that bucket being checked. Utility, I mean, for the example of using Ethereum as a gas token to pay for services, that's another form. So I think, because of these interesting functionalities or qualities, I'm really excited to see which government agencies or which entities will basically cast their net over either parts of the suite of services or the utility functions of the asset or how it's used. I'm really interested to see how that cookie crumbles. Is it the CFTC, since they obviously oversee commodities and other things of that nature, which I believe that's a great classification for an ETH gas token or something of the sort. So I think, or just basically owning a piece of the protocol or the network, but we'll see what happens there. I think with the whole Stablecoin Act being on the also just coming around the corner, I think that's what's really going to drive the next potential narrative, or especially for an uptick in the market. We saw Coinbase IPO 2021 in the middle of an enormous bull run. So I think that is probably what we're going to see within this cycle, and potentially, and I'm, for the record, I'm not part of Link 2 anymore. We're separated, but I do have, a considerable amount of investments, and I'm still a shareholder. So I'm rooting the team on. But where I'm getting at is, I think, what we'll see potentially in this cycle is, winners like maybe a Circle, who's already filed their S1 and is potentially, in a quiet period. Who knows? But that could be something that elevates to the top with or in tandem with a Bitcoin, uptick or increase in the market as well. I mean, that's probably the value driving the market within the digital world itself. And so that's where I think that this is. That's why I'm really bullish. But again, there's always something to clip the wings, and potentially that could be another narrative like Tether to bring us back down. So sorry to be a Debbie Downer or bring it up to break it down, but I just think that there's always, like you guys mentioned, a narrative that to bring the market up and a narrative to bring market down. But what we got to do is just be be willing to share information, learn from our experiences, and go at this as a community. Because when we work at this together, we're greater in some rather than as an individual. But I do need to put myself on pause. My wife just got home with some groceries, and I need to help break down bring them into the house. I'll be right back, guys.
Good man.
Awesome. Ray, thank you so much. And Jeremy, floor is yours. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm okay. I was just saying, Ray's a good man for helping with those groceries.
I absolutely agree. And we got our friend Crypto for Life out there. We're going to get Jay up here to talk very soon. Jay, usually I'm a co-host on this thing. We had some technical difficulties. I'm just a speaker right now, so bear with us.
I just threw the invite to you, friend. So if you want to jump on here, we'd love to have you come up. And everybody that's here too, just a reminder, we'd love to have you join the conversation. This is an inclusive environment. We'd love for you to ask questions, share your thoughts and opinions. As long as we remain amicable in the discussions that we're having, we would love to have more discussions. So feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you up. And also Crypto for Life, I threw you an invite, so we'd love to bring you up as well.
Johnny Crypto, really quick, before we kind of move on from this topic, one of the things that catches my attention about what we're talking about is Ray said, always be careful. The market tends to get over optimistic and then it tends to get overly pessimistic. And right now, Ray's kind of just, kind of putting it point blank, stating that we're in an overly optimistic phase of the market. So he's anticipating that we could have a pullback. I disagree. Respectfully, Ray, I do disagree, but I'm going to kick it to my man, Johnny Crypto, because I know he has some opinions. And we do have like 30, 40 people joining us, guys. Throw some emojis out there. Throw some 100s. Throw some hearts out there for us. Get some engagement going. I want to remind you, this space is brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. You can connect almost any exchange, any wallet to our application and get in there, create an exit plan, figure out your profits and losses, as well as your tax estimates. So tons of benefits to this app. Check it out. 30 days, absolutely free. But with that being said, Johnny, I'm going to kick it over to you and then we'll continue.
Yeah, first of all, let me get a shout out to our man Crypto for Life. It was funny because Abs was like, when we met him, it's kind of obvious how tall he is because his name says 6'8" but Abs like, wow, I didn't realize he was 6'8". So yeah, we know where the name comes from. But shout out to you, Jay. You're an awesome dude. I'm so happy you're here tonight, and I'm so happy we've been able to meet you. Met so many good people at XRP Las Vegas. So it's so cool that we get to build the community and we're growing together. We're all getting to become friends. Let's face it, like we didn't even know each other 4 years ago. And yet crypto is bringing us all together. That's really, really cool to see it happening as we're this tiny community that kind of sees what's coming. We see this freight train that's coming and we're getting in front of it. And it's cool that we're all on the train together. But, Abs, when you talk about the three different coins that are being adopted, there's no surprise here that these entities, they're all in business to make money. You don't think that Wall Street doesn't realize that this crypto freight train is coming and that they can't, you don't think they're going to, Wall Street's always innovating, right? They're themselves. They're always looking for new ways to make money. And of course, they're going to find a way to adopt the cryptocurrency market and bring in these coins, whether utility coins or whatever kind of coins they want to call them. They're going to find a market for it because they know that people are willing to invest in it, as I've already seen from us who would be called the early adopters. And to me, they're just going to take this market and they're going to grow it bigger and bigger and they're going to capitalize on it. And they're going to manipulate the shit out of it too, unfortunately. But that's just something you have to know. And so when Ray says be careful, I agree in that perspective of be careful in the long run because they're going to manipulate it. But for the short term, right now, we're in so early that there's just so much upside potential that even if you make mistakes in the long run, if you hold and you have an exit plan and you take some profits on the way up and hold some for the long run, I think everybody's going to do very, very well in the future, abs in this space.
All right, guys, let's break into the important topic of conversation tonight because the SEC approved Ethereum's ETF last week. And what does that mean for other altcoins? It's going to be very difficult for the SEC to stick with what they've been saying, that Solana is a security, that Cardano is a security, that XRP is a security, even though they already lost that one in court. Gonzo, I actually want to start with you because I know we had a good discussion about this on Good Morning Crypto. I'd love for you to just kind of elaborate on that. Johnny, we did invite Jay up here, by the way. Shout out to Crypto for Life. Hopefully he can join us. But Gonzo, this is what I wanted to stick on. Thinking about where Solana and Cardano and XRP currently sit in comparison to Bitcoin and ETH, they're at less than 10% of the total market cap. So all it would take is a single day of Ethereum liquidity to completely change where these projects are. Maybe you can give us your opinion. Do you think the SEC will approve anything other than Ethereum during 2024?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you remember, the reason that we got the whole Bitcoin spot ETF and why we thought we were going to get the Ethereum spot ETF was because Grayscale went to court, right? And that's where they got the ruling that went against them, that they could no longer use the excuse that they'd been using because there was futures product. And so we eventually saw the spot ETF for Bitcoin get approved, and then now the Ethereum's been approved. But when you look at it, there are no other futures products that we have. Those were the only two. So he's going to probably lean into that. I believe that the SEC will lean into that. But like I was saying earlier, what makes me think that it wasn't a well thought of, it wasn't like a thought out thing. All of the litigation that they had been doing up to this point was to push those things as securities, and this felt like it was a very last minute thing. But from the higher ups that really don't give a shit that the SEC now has a problem, right? How are they now going to justify if it's Ethereum's a commodity and you have all these other assets, these digital assets that are very similar, that they've kind of tried to, in a roundabout way, call securities in their lawsuits? How are they going to fix that, right? Because they're going to be able to go to court now, especially like in the Coinbase case, where the judge had ruled that the case can move forward, which wasn't like an unusual thing that usually happens. There just has to be a little bit of an evidence or some type of argument that can be made, and they let them go forward. But the lawyers for the Coinbase side can now readdress certain things that were made in that decision because now ETH is a commodity, right? And you could see that Gary Gensler's been kind of quiet. He hasn't come out. I'm really curious to see the next interview where they force him to answer, is ETH a commodity or a security? Because it clearly has been answered. And so, I think they're gonna lean into it because we don't have the futures product, but also like they have a big fight ahead of them in these court cases because this really changes things, and it wasn't really, I don't think, well thought out by the higher ups. But I don't think they really cared. I think all they really cared about is that they might lose the selection, and they were going to do everything possible to try to get votes and be damned of the SEC and their lawsuits, right? Unless you're in the belief that this was all, like Johnny says, the WWE, and that was the plan the whole time, right? And if you think about how these phases work out, right, and going up and going down, we knew we were going to have to get some type of catalyst, and this is the catalyst. Just like in the future, we're going to get a catalyst that brings us down, right? Some kind of negative news, and then somebody always has to go to zero. And because we're just barely, we don't even have regulation yet, right? We got Fit 21, but Brad Garlinghouse talked about this. Because we don't have regulation or clear rules to the road, and you're talking about like a technology and developers think in the mindset of pushing the boundaries of technology, and now you're involving money, and money's kind of a different thing. That something is absolutely going to go to zero, right? Because you're going to keep pushing out the technology that involves money, and because there are no clear guidelines, something's going to go to zero, right? Because we're going to keep pushing the extremes, keep pushing the technology out, and so something naturally, law of the universe, has to go to zero, and that's how we go into the next bear market. But for now, like I agree with you. Are we going to get a correction? Yeah, we're going to get corrections. They happen in bull runs, right? At least 20%. But are we going to see bear market lows? Not unless we get some crazy black swan, right? And it's going to be a V-shaped recovery and the best opportunity ever, like what happened last time during the C word. But if you look at our bear market lows, we haven't come anywhere near close. Even on the big crash that we had the first weekend of April, the altcoins in the total three, or if you look at individually at Solana, AVAX, whatever it is, we haven't touched those lows yet. We've been on a constant uptrend. And so even if we get a correction, if you were building your positions in the bear market, right, in 2022, 2023, you're not going to touch any of those lows, I believe.
Good point, Gonzo. And I'm going to kick it over to Crypto for Life for an introduction, but I do think you make a bunch of good points, specifically when talking about those pullbacks during a bull run. This is one of the only bull runs that we've had thus far where there haven't been that many 20 or 30% pullbacks. Even the biggest pullbacks when it comes to Bitcoin are about 15, 18, maybe only 13%. So plenty of volatility could still be in the future, even if we're heading into a bull market. But the best thing that we have going for us is what you said, Gonzo. There's going to be a moment where almost all of these crypto projects are put through a test to determine what type of digital asset are they? A utility, a stable coin, a digital currency? They're all going to be classified. And I think that point forward is where we see this industry really take another step. We'll see everyday use cases. But Jay, I want to kick it over to you. First of all, thank you for making time for us tonight. How you feeling, my friend? And what's on your mind? Any input on this convo or anything else that you're checking out?
Guys, I actually walked into just to show you how much love I got for Abs and Johnny Crypto and all you guys. I came into the bathroom at the restaurant that I'm at with my wife and mother-in-law who's in town, but I just want to let you guys know that love you guys, appreciate you guys. Can't wait to connect with you guys on Merlin. What an amazing opportunity that's going to be. Shouts out to Ray Fuentes, all you guys that are here. Much love. I appreciate you guys. I told my wife to give me a couple of seconds, but no, just what a great time to be in crypto. What a great time to be a part of this movement. Everything that they laughed at, all the things that we went through early on. I've been in since 17. All the trials and tribulations. It's not. It's not a particular price. It's not what a certain coin's market cap is. It's the fact that we can start seeing the sunshine come through, man. And I'm so stinking excited. It's kind of like when Judge Annalisa Torres gave the verdict July 13th, 2023. My wife held me and started crying, not because we got the $5 or $20, because she understood what that meant. She understood what we held. And I'm telling you guys right now, this moment, man, I'm embracing every single. I mean, this is the most exciting time I've ever had in crypto, just because I'm starting to see everyone, turn positive as far as what's happening here in the United States and around the country and what's going on with the SEC. Our day is coming, and that's what's happening right now. And I'm super excited. So love you guys. Appreciate you guys. I'm about to get back in here, but I'm listening. I just got to get back here into this dinner we're having.
Yo, Jay, I got to tell you, man, you just earned a whole new level of respect, my man. Like this gold and silver fucking, you're at the platinum level, my man. You took time out while you're out at dinner with your wife to go sneak in the bathroom to talk out of Merlin. It's a whole new level, and that's the kind of people we're going to partner with. I love you, brother. Thank you for making the time to join us for a few seconds.
You're very welcome, man. Hey, if I can let my lasagna get cold for you guys, that means as much love.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what the whole dude. Next time I see you, Italian dinner on me, man. I got you covered, brother.
Homemade lasagna on Mrs. Johnny Crypto, guys. You heard it here first. And I just want to give a shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much.
Someone's going to buy Italian. I guess it's an Italian food on me. But if you can, Jay, have his family make it for you. It's amazing.
There you go.
It'll definitely
homemade dinner for Jay,
ahead.
Johnny Crypto style, man. I get the mom and the wife. We'll get you. You'll have the best meal of your life, my friend. But that was on a serious note, man. Love you, brother. Thank you for making a few seconds for us. That is awesome. And anytime you need something from us, man, don't you even think about hesitating to reach out to us, man. Love you, man.
And when you do have him at your family house and he steps away from the family dinner and heads to the bathroom, he's not stinking it up. He's on a live stream.
He's on a live stream doing a space.
Oh, Jay.
No time off for Jay, guys. And I saw we got Trey up here as well. I want to give a shout out to Trey. Trey, any questions, any comments? Floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, a little earlier, you guys were talking about how BlackRock was getting a fund together with some commercial and utility, if I'm remembering correctly, stuff. I'm wondering, because you were also talking about Congress and how they were going to change what they were talking about, some of the altcoins as securities. I'm thinking that they might try and pigeonhole them. So XLM and stuff like that, since they have VeChain, stuff like that, that since they have a utility behind them, they will be set into that and kind of restricted in that way. That's a possibility.
Very much agree, Trey. And we're going to find out over these next few months, because whether they like it or not, this is the year for crypto, guys. All the developments that we've seen thus far, starting with the ETF, going into the SEC's approval for Ethereum, I do not think it's a stretch to not only agree with what Trey's saying, but to say that we're going to see adoption towards the end of this year, both through ETF products and real-world use cases. But I want to remind people, come up here, join the conversation if you'd like to, but we've already been going for about an hour. Jeremy, I'd like to get some comments from you, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, no, I think everything is great, and I love having everybody come up and speak about what is going on. So again, if you have anything that you would like to add, feel free to come on up here. And, just one of the reminders that I want to let everybody know, at Merlin, one of our main goals is to the education piece that Ray was speaking about, not only just education in the crypto space, but also education on how our Merlin app works. So make sure that you follow us on the Merlin YouTube or here on X as well. Abs and our customer support manager or head, Mario, aka the Node Defender, they do a live Q&A. So if you've ever had questions about your exit strategies, how to actually manually put them into Merlin, how to connect your wallets and exchanges to Merlin, anything about Merlin and what's going on, make sure that you jump on that live. We have it once a month. The best way to be notified is make sure you are a follower of ours here on X, and make sure that you subscribe to our Merlin channel on YouTube, and that is at Merlin_crypto, if I'm not mistaken, or it's at Get Merlin Crypto. Just type in Merlin Crypto on YouTube and it will come up for you. The other thing that I just want to mention too is we're all about providing the news and the updates and education in the crypto space as we work to be a leader in that space, not only as it relates to our crypto tracker app, but as it relates to making sure that more people know what's going on in the crypto space and are becoming more comfortable with it. And one of the things that Abs and Johnny like to do is to also do a Merlin update or a market update. We're trying to get them into the habit of once a week on that YouTube page as well. So make sure that you subscribe to us there. And again, if you don't have Merlin, 30-day free trial for everybody that signs up, and we make it easy for you to cancel. We don't think that you're going to cancel, but in the event that you do, it's a one-click cancel. Go ahead, sign up, do the 30 days, connect your wallets and exchanges, see how Merlin works, and we believe that you'll enjoy it, and we'd love to hear your feedback as well on that too. So back over to you, Abs.
Very important to note, Jeremy, as well. We do not custody your crypto. It's the number one question I get on the show, in the live chat, on Twitter. We do not custody your crypto, and we're only available in US and Canada. So I just knocked off 95% of the questions people have out there. There's zero risk to custodying your assets. We do not have access to your assets. We cannot touch your assets. We're just a software program that allows you to enhance what your exchanges can do. So it's really, really great what we've created. Shout out to our man, Johnny Crypto, because nothing's possible without that man right there. So Johnny, just close us out and we'll roll into some other topics. What's on your mind when it comes to what we're discussing now?
Abs, you're too kind. At the end of the day, we just want to try to help as many people as possible. I think for people who've used Merlin, we've heard it. For people who haven't, hey, 30 days free, no risk. You can cancel in the app. We've made it easy. So I encourage everybody to try it. And the real reason why is because, A, it's so great to see all your crypto in one place. I'll tell you what, on average, Abs, we found most people have anywhere from 5 to 8 wallets. Imagine trying to check your account and the bull market's happening and you're trying to figure out what your account is doing, what's up, what's down. That was me in 2021. And I said, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. And that's why we invented Merlin. So I encourage everybody to try it, but I don't want to waste too much time promoting it here because I know people aren't here for that. They're here to talk about crypto. So we'll definitely hop into the topics of, ETFs getting approved and those kinds of things. But I do want to say that, yes, give it a shot, try it out, and 30 days free, and it will help you force you into thinking of creating an exit strategy. And that's something everybody needs to know, Abs. If you're going to get into something, you better have a plan to get out. Not saying get out 100%. Having an exit plan doesn't mean sell everything. It means just have a plan to take some profits so you can enjoy those on the way up, because we know that crypto doesn't always go up. It will come down too.
Johnny, there's a great saying, and I heard it with Waters Above on Good Morning Crypto. Putin had an exit plan. You should too. So that's something you can apply to your crypto portfolio. And that's a little inside joke for our listeners who have been watching Good Morning Crypto for several years. So shout out to Johnny Crypto. I did just want to go into a little bit further discussion when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But think about this, Johnny. The whole reason we talk about having an exit plan is because we didn't take enough profit in 2021. I guess I can only talk for myself here, but we're speaking from firsthand experience. Having an exit plan, figuring out exactly what your profits and losses will be at your price targets, it's going to make a huge difference. You're going to have way more anxiety when prices are going parabolic than you will when they're crashing. Believe it or not, if this is your first bull run and you wake up one day and your chain link that was $18 is now trading at $36, there's going to be some anxiety in that moment. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. But at the same time, if you don't have a plan, you're going to feel anxious and you may even make the wrong decision. Now, I wouldn't say that. I believe in all of you guys, all 40 people who are joining us. I believe they'll all make the right decision, but the evidence is stacked against you, Johnny Crypto. And that's why we always talk about, Merlin. Get in there, figure out your profits and losses, use our app, 30 days absolutely free. And remember, we do not custody your crypto. We don't have access to your crypto. That's not what this app does. It's just a software program.
Hey,
So to continue
hey,
and get
Abs,
back,
you
go
know
ahead.
who else didn't have an exit plan? Didn't Coach? He'll be the first one to tell you that he didn't sell as much as he would have liked either. And an exit plan is so important. But with that said, I just want to give a shout out to Troy Troy Cook for coming up and speaking. Thank you for that. I also hear you're a great social community developer, so kudos to you for that. And I also want to give a shout out to Star Dogs. I see they're in the house. They're also very good friends of the Merlin family with Darcy and Dylan there. And they are also innovating in the crypto space. I'm telling you, it's so cool to have one of these spaces and see all the people you didn't know a year or 2 years ago and all these friends or developers coming into the space to grow it. So I hope Star Dogs is available to come up and chat. I'd love to hear from Dylan if you're out there, if you're able to come up. But nonetheless, just want to give you a shout out. Appreciate your guys' support and love what you guys are doing in the crypto space as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. If you're there, or Star Dogs, if you're there, Darcy, if you're there, go ahead and come on up. I sent you an invite. And I also want to say I didn't have an exit plan, and I even have Merlin right now. So that's why it's so important to be educated on setting up exit plans and making sure that you're doing it, because I was building an altcoin portfolio that I needed to set exit plans up for. And we ended up going to XRP Las Vegas, and then I went to Virginia. And now I'm back, and I saw one of the coins that I had did very, very well, and I wish that I had that exit target set up. So we are always the first and the transparent ones to let you know how important it is to have it, and sometimes you miss out on that. So when you get Merlin, make sure that you spend the time to set up those exit targets. Make sure that if you have questions on it, we have a live support team. We have chat for you as well. And again, I don't want to beat it with a dead horse, so I'm going to kick it back over to you, Abs.
Guys, there's so much positive stuff. We're only going to talk for another 20 minutes or so. So please, if you're enjoying this conversation, come up, join the conversation, ask a question. We'd love to talk with you. But Johnny, just think about everything that we have going forward. What is the most important thing that you would like? Let's open the discussion up to more broad instead of just individual topics. If somebody's going through their first bull run here, and we're talking about exit plans, and maybe it's resignating, maybe it's not. What is one thing you would say to somebody that could prepare them for what we kind of saw in 2021, where Bitcoin went from 9K to 30K to $69,000? Maybe you can speak to your experience that you had back then, and how are you going to apply it to this bull run?
Well, I think one of the things to think about if you're into this space, you don't understand it, just know that just as fast as things go up, they can come down. The biggest thing I would tell them is what you see and the prices that they pump up to probably won't hold, aren't sustainable. And I made that mistake of thinking that, we got to that first pump and everybody was talking about a second leg coming up. And I made the mistake of thinking and waiting for that second leg. And that's why I lost a lot of money and didn't sell enough, because I thought a second leg was coming. I fell for it like most people did. And so this is where I was saying earlier, I would tell everybody, they are going to propose a narrative to make you think whenever you're at the top that it's going higher. If we're at 100,000, you're going to hear 200,000, and that's how the game is played. So I encourage you to understand the game. My biggest advice is take profits on the way up. Don't try to catch the top. That's the best advice I can give you. Took me a long time to get there and say it, but that's the simple words. Don't try to catch the top. If you think and wait and try to catch the top, you're going to do what all of us did. You ain't catching it. 99% of us will not catch the top. 1% will get lucky and catch it. The rest of us will miss it. Then it'll come down, and we'll think it's going to come back up through the dead cat bounce, and then they drop it on you, and you lose everything, and you're like, damn. So don't be greedy. Don't catch the top. Don't wait for the top. Be happy at 80%. 80% top, 20% the bottom, and boy, you'll be living a good life.
Gonzo, I'm kicking it to you. Any comments for someone going through their first bull run?
Yeah, it's to have a plan, and it kind of ties in with what Johnny's saying. Like, regardless of what I say, what you say, when we're going through the cycle, that maybe there's more upside or whatever, have a plan and have a goal, right? If you have a goal for yourself, because this is what happens, people set certain goals in the bear market, right? And then as they make money, as this market takes off and goes parabolic, they move that goal, right? Because the greed gene takes over. So if you had a goal and you're going to be able to pay off your car or pay off your house, depending on how your portfolio is, and it's life changing for you, it doesn't matter what the market is doing or if there's more upside. If you've hit that goal, execute it, right? Because all you're going to do is move the goalpost. You're going to get more greedy. And then that's when you get wrecked, right? That's when you lose the profits. So if you have a goal in mind and you write that goal down and then you hit that goal, then execute it, right? Especially if it's something life changing, like you could pay off your house, or maybe you're drowning in debt and you can pay off all of your debt, right? That is the whole point, right? To be here to make money, right? I mean, I would say that most people are here because they're trying to change their lives. And so if you have an opportunity to change your life, take it, because there's nothing like the present. We don't know what could happen tomorrow, right? I mean, it's as bullish as it is right now. All of a sudden, the wrong person could get into power or win the presidency, and the next day they ban all of this. Now, and it all goes to zero, right? Now, I don't think that's going to happen, or I wouldn't be spending time in the space. But what I'm saying is, like, there's no time like the present. And if you have those gains, and that's why it's so important, right? Like, as this thing goes up, you need to pull profits, right? And if your strategy is, you know what, I'm financially set, I don't need this money, I just know where it's going long term, and I'm holding this for 20 years, then hey, good for you. Then you know what, you probably don't need Merlin. You don't even need to like pay attention to the markets, right? Because all it's going to do is mess with your head. So put your crypto in cold storage and in 20 years, bring it back out. But for most people, they're not financially free. They are not financially set. And so they're trying to, gain from this opportunity. And if you're one of those people, then you need to have a plan and set goals. And then when you accomplish those goals, you need to execute them.
It's a great point, Gonzo. And just to close this topic out, 2024 it's been really easy to be optimistic this year. Last year, I think it was more difficult. We were still getting that bearish price action. January 5th of 2023, Bitcoin was trading at $6,000. Today, it's $70,000. So we've done over 420% gain in just the last year and a half. We're in the midst of a bull run, Johnny. I think it's very easy to be optimistic, but the opposite end of that is have a plan. If we go into some explosive parabolic price action, it is not going to be long-lived. We have to exit the market when we're profitable, and that's why we're talking about it right now. But Jeremy, I think it's a good time to just kind of close it out if that's okay with you. I'd love to ask anybody to come up, ask questions, have any comments. But Johnny, before we close it out here, any closing remarks?
No, I think at the end of the day, we beat the death out of the heck of having an exit plan or have a plan. So I won't go there. I will say this. We've got a nice group of people in the chat. I'd love for them. Does anybody have any questions? Come on up. Now's the time to reach out to us. You got a lot of us here. We're happy to answer your questions. Nice to see XRP Bits here. But guys, come on up, speak. We'd love to hear either. You might not have a question. Maybe you just have a comment. Love to hear your thoughts before we close this thing out. I can't believe it's already been an hour and 15 minutes. That went incredibly fast. I guess
Time flies when you're talking about exiting.
Yeah, exactly. It sure does, right? But at the end of the day, I think what's exciting is we're in the crypto space. We're actually seeing us begin stage 3 to stage 4. Now, remember, stage 1 is to first ignore you. Stage 2 is then they laugh at you. Stage 3 is then they fight you, which we're in that stage right now. But you're starting to see a little bit of stage 4. Then they join you, right? We got President Trump. We got former President Trump talking about crypto. Now you got the current administration saying, "Oh, we're going pro crypto." You got the SEC who's approved another ETF. You're starting to see the then they join you pieces start to happen, come together. Now there's a way long way to go, right? We're still in the then they fight you stage, but you're starting to see some of that break down now, Abs. And for me, that's really, really exciting. I think for everybody in crypto who's here, it's really, really exciting. But when to see the real, you want to talk about when the floodgates break open and come into the space and these prices get lifted up higher and are more sustainable. To me, that only happens with one thing, and that's regulation. Got to keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give it a few more seconds. If anybody wants to throw their hand up, we'll bring you on up. Don't be scared. Only Johnny Crypto bites, and technically he can't because he's not here. He's in the phone. So that being said, feel free to raise your hand. Come on up, and we would love to hear your thoughts. Please don't be shy. But if we don't get anybody here in a few seconds, we'll go ahead and end this space. And I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate them. Trey, you have your hand up, sir. Feel free. Please share.
Naturally, the minute you call me up, I forget what I was going to say. I remember an anecdote. I think it might have been either during the Warrior Academy or maybe three, the show you guys do. I'm sorry, it's my head is.
The Good Morning Crypto Show.
Yeah, that's it. I think somebody said at one point that having an exit strategy or trying to get profits is like trying to catch a knife. It's better to catch it when it's going up because if you don't get it right, you'll hit the handle. But when it's coming down, you might hit the blade and end up getting hurt. So it's always better to catch it when it's going up than going down. And then secondly, I'm really excited for when 2025 is coming because then that's going to be when a lot of the stuff is really going to, like the 4-year cycle thing. But sorry if that made no sense. I hope it did.
No, it
Thanks,
makes
guys.
perfect sense, Trey. Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% when you should do it is on the way up. And that's one of the things that we try to work to educate people on because that's how most people get out. And not only that, too, even if you take those profits on the way up, one of the things that we talk about in the Warrior Academy and Coach JV talks about, and again, 3-2 Warrior Academy is one of the owners along with Johnny Crypto of the company that created Merlin. But with 3-2 Warrior Academy, we talk a lot about is taking those profits on the way up and putting them into other assets as well and deploying those into maybe less riskier assets, or maybe deploying them into other cryptocurrencies, and that's one of the great things that we do inside of the 3-2 Warrior Academy is educate people with that as well. Because again, it's all about education. You know, I think that one of the great things that was said tonight was from Ray when he was talking about us getting out there and educating people on it. I mean, it is a little bit cliche, but people are afraid of things that they don't understand. The more that people understand how blockchain works, how cryptocurrency works, how the exchanges work, the wallets work, how Web3 works, yes, there's going to be bad actors in all things. But the more that people understand how those things work, the more comfortable they're going to be with it. And that's not only good for them to be able to get wealth by investing in these things, but also because that technology is going to keep coming. And so it's all, you know, the more that we can get people to, I guess, utilize new technology and be a part of it and understand it, the better they're going to be and be able to, I guess, transact in the future, especially when it comes to digital assets. So absolutely, Trey, I agree with that 100%. And so I guess with that, no one came up. I'm going to go ahead and close us out. So the first thing that I want to say is I want to thank everybody for being a part of this space. And I want to thank our guest speakers that came up. So definitely Trey for coming up and sharing his thoughts and asking questions. So make sure that you follow Trey here on X. You can also follow him on Instagram at Creator Trey, and on other social media. I think I have one more requested. Oh, you know what? We have one more request. So make sure that you follow Trey. I'm going to bring up Boca Vita to answer the question and to share their thoughts. Me and Johnny will answer it. I think Abs had to step down for a second. So Boca Vita, if you want to come on up, if you come up to speak, we'll give you. Yeah.
Gentlemen, how are you doing? Just wanted to say Ray's going to be down in Cape Canaveral at Mel Carmine's Quantum Summit 1776. I believe Abs is going to come over and do an interview, and a few of the other people are going to be coming from XRP Las Vegas 2024. So we're looking to see you down here and do some great interviews. Ray's going to have some new interesting video clips. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, Boca Vita. Yeah, make sure that if you're in Florida at that event, make sure that you swing by, get some content, share that content with us. If you post that content on social, go ahead and at Merlin as well. We'll share that too, and Abs will also.
Ray's going to be live streaming on, I think, Instagram and possibly Facebook. I don't know if he can do live stream yet off of Spaces, but we're going to try to hook some things up. You're going to see some interesting. Molly's going to be there. Molly Elmore, Jimmy Valley. It's going to be an interesting mix of unique, different avenues of things that we all haven't thought about. But as far as digital assets are concerned, what we all need to work on is not selling our XRP. I know the exit strategy. I do understand it. However, XRP is much more than that. Remember the drips or the drops, 1 million. I did ask Brad Garlinghouse that question. When does the mechanism kick in? There's 1 million drops, guys. This is bigger than you ever thought of. We need to make our money work for us while we sleep. That's the key. That's about all I got to say.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming up here and sharing that, Bokavita. Appreciate it. And I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Ray for coming up. You can follow him on YouTube at Ray Fuentes. I think his channel just got started. It's already got over 1,000 subscribers the last time that I looked at it, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got those cool Ray bands, so he's going to be doing a lot of live streaming and getting a lot of amazing clips. Yeah, 1,022 subscribers as of right now, and he just got this bad boy started. So make sure that you follow Ray there. It's Ray Fuentes, Fuentes, and you can follow him here on X at Ray Fuentes as well. And one of the places I talk to him a lot is on LinkedIn, so you can follow him on LinkedIn. I'm assuming at Ray Fuentes, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think that's how we follow him on LinkedIn as well. So make sure that you follow Ray across the socialverse. And then also a big shout out to our friend Crypto for Life. You can follow him on social media at Crypto for Life on YouTube. Make sure that you check out his YouTube channel as well. 25,000 subscribers. He is kicking butt. And you can follow him here on X as well, and probably across the rest of the social verse. And again, my name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I was your moderator this evening for this X Spaces, brought to you from Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. You can find me across the socials at Age of Jeremy. Your host this evening, as always, was the amazing Abs, Merlin Senior Engagement Specialist, and also the host of the Good Morning Crypto Show. The Good Morning Crypto Show comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern from the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube page. You can follow Abs right here on X at 3TGM Crypto. You can also follow Johnny Crypto, the Italian stallion. I don't know what his handle is. I think just type in Johnny Crypto. You'll find him. Johnny Crypto with a K. You can find him on TikTok. You can find him on the Good Morning Crypto Show. You can find him on Facebook. You just can't find him on Instagram for some weird reason, but we won't give him a chance to explain that. I'm just kidding. Johnny, where else can everybody find you? Is that where you're at? All right.
Yeah, pretty YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. It's Johnny Crypto 00, and that's crypto with a K.
Oh, all right. And then also, too, make sure that you follow Gonzo, who sometimes shows up on the Good Morning Crypto Show. You can also follow Gonzo on 3T Espanol. They do live shows once a week, I think on Tuesdays, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure that you follow him there as well. And I think that is everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, this X Spaces was brought to you by Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. And we're going to play this out. If I can find my player, I think I closed it. Give me 1 second. Let's get this happy little jingle back up for Johnny, and we're going to close this out, and we will talk with you next time. Bye, everybody.
Great job, Jeremy. It's so happy.
Thank you for tuning in to the Merlin Crypto Market Update located on the X app. I'm Abs, your host and Senior Engagement Officer at Merlin, and we hope you enjoyed this episode from our Merlin X Spaces. Remember, you can catch us live every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the X app at Get Merlin Crypto. If you want to take your crypto tracking to the next level, don't miss out on our free 30-day trial at merlincrypto.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.